All right, so we got a 2010 Ford Fusion, and a really nice looking car. And then we went and put it up on the lift, and we found a major issue. So let me show you what we found.
We'll back it up.
All right, so
back it up, man.
the 2010 Ford Fusion. Let me show you what happened with this one. That's the exhaust. I'll show you what we're doing. I think it rotted. I don't know where this car was from, but evidently a lot of these have this issue. So that control arm basically rotted right off.
Yeah, here,
that thing is shot. Okay, so you replace it as a unit. So we found, the exhaust, I'm going to tell you how we got it on, and off and back on. So we found this one at LKQ. Got good rotors on it, good bearings, good everything on it. We used the old, we didn't even have to open the bleeding system or nothing. So if you want to learn how to do this, if you got a lift, it's a lot easier, obviously. If you're doing it on the ground, jack the thing up on the ground, get it up as high as you can, because this has to drop down like 1.5 feet. So there's 2 bolts. What size were those? These
18.
two. 18 millimeter, 2 18 millimeter bolts here.
No, those 3/4.
All right, for this little bracket. This will go on here like that.
Those were.
Okay, we'll show you when we put them back on. All right, 13s.
Yeah,
so all right, and then you got the big nut. Big nut here, big nut there.
3/4.
So there's 4 of those, and then there's 2 that go up in here like this in the front for these control arms.
Those are 18s.
Okay, you undo the bottom of the shock. The shock stays in place. Caliper, brake line, all stays in place. The sensor, wheel sensor, stays in place. You don't have to take them off. Okay, so the whole suspension comes just like that.
Hang on, Joe.
So what we're going to do is we're going to line all this back up with these 4 holes. It's got to come to me a little bit. All right? You could do it on a jack. We're doing it on a tranny jack. The shame of it is the rest of the car was immaculate. So the other thing we did was there's no way you have to cut the exhaust. Okay, because the exhaust goes under this. So we cut the exhaust off, and then I'll just re-weld that on. Okay? And that's it. And we're going to put this back up. Once we got it bolted in place, I'll show you where the bolts are and what else you got to do. All right, so he's putting, so where these studs slide through, he put some penetrating oil on them. And when it would be a good idea to make sure you spray them before you even start taking them off, because being they're all rusted. Okay, so those will go on there.
These are going to
We got these lined up, and then once we get them up, then we could pull the control arm back into its place. All right, got enough oil in there. Let's do it. All right, so basically you got the 4 main bolts. You got 2 on each side where the control arm goes forward. You put the brake calipers and all that back on. You don't even have to take the brake lines. You don't have to break them open or nothing. Parking brakes and all that is an assembly. You put the wheel sensor, speed sensor, whatever you want to call it, ABS sensor back on. Bolt them back on, 10 millimeter. That's it. And now we're going to just make sure everything is lined up. I'm going to put it back up in the air. I'm going to weld the exhaust back on it, and it's done, good to go. All right. Weld that back up. Weld all the hangers back on. And she's good to go. You put your shocks back in. Hook up all your lines, your brake lines. All right. There you go. Like new again. All right, that's it. Let her down. So you go from that rotted, right, to a nice car. A real nice car to drive.
Okay.
All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share the channel. Keep up with the videos. Things are going great here. We're almost done with the Mustang. And that'll be going up to the dyno next week.